love a joke.
Say, Lucy.
Yeah, Ricky?
A tramp came up to me in the street and he said he hadn't had a bite in weeks.
What'd you do, bite him? Opening butler joke, buddy, come on.
The master says to the butler, Jeeves, did you put fresh water in the goldfish bowl? And the butler says, why? They didn't drink up what I gave them last night.
You know that ancient joke about the guy who saves his regiment, shoots the cook?
No. How does it go?
And welcome to the program. I'm John Mallos here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno, live from the showroom floor at Ventura TV. On this day, we're talking Central Valley business. We'll have somebody from the Ventura Merchants Association representing that group, 8 to 10 businesses, as well as somebody from the Central Valley Business Incubator. We'll take your phone calls at area code 559-265-4331. Today is business, the focus on business on Connect With Me. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Well, today is the focus on business. It is Business Tuesday right here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. I'm John Mallos, your host. We hope you call in today because a very important topic. We're talking about small businesses right here in the Central Valley. If you're thinking about starting a small business or you have one already, you might want to call in the program at 265-4331. A very important topic. We have somebody from the Valley Business Incubator. We have somebody from the Ventura Merchants Association. So if you own a business, whether it's along Ventura Avenue or in North Fresno, call in. Live in our studio right now, of course, left of your screen, of course, is Barbara Rodeik. She is the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of the Central Valley Business Incubator right here in the city of Fresno. It's located right next door to the spaghetti factory right there in North Fresno. And Sal Gonzales, our friend here from Triangle Associates, representing about 8 to 10 businesses along the Ventura Boulevard, the Ventura Merchants Association, which Ventura TV, we host the program from Ventura TV, of course. We're along Ventura Avenue 2. The big Fresno Fair is just down the street, so a lot of businesses on hand, not only along Ventura Boulevard, but in the Central Valley. Hey, from Merced all the way down to Bakersfield, how many businesses are we talking about? How many small businesses went out of business or are trying to get back into the game? Isn't that what drives the economy? Isn't that what drives in terms of hiring, jobs, and the economy? There's a presidential election coming up. There's a big debate tomorrow. Barack Obama and, of course, Mitt Romney debating on Wednesday night. So we might talk a little bit about that. Who might be the better one in office to help small business? I don't know. We're going to be back with your phone calls and our two guests, area code 559-265-4331. A big topic today. Stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
You know, the big question for a lot of people these days is they don't want to work for a boss. They don't want to work for someone. They want to work for themselves. They want to be the big cheese. So what does it take to start your own business? Maybe from home, maybe from an office. That is a huge, huge question, especially in this economy with so many people being laid off, so many people losing their homes. Building your own small business from the ground up would be maybe the best thing to do. Our guest today, Barbara Rodeik from the Central Valley Business Incubator. Good to have you along here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, I know it's kind of short notice, but thanks for coming on. And Sal Gonzales from Triangle Associates. He represents the Ventura Merchants Association. Good to see you, Sal.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks for
Ellis.
coming on. So, Barbara, let's start off by asking you what the Central Valley Business Incubator is involved in. What's your role in the community and small business?
Good question. I always like to say, my own 30-second pitch, that we are a nonprofit organization designed to help people make a lot of profit. Because the more successful small businesses are, the more successful we are, and the more successful our entire valley can be.
How do you help them?
We have several programs that we run that all have different targets, but all have the same objective, and that is to launch businesses that create jobs that not only sustain our valley, but raise the economic
But you don't
value.
help them launch it financially, do you?
We have an SBDC program that provides excellent top-notch consultation, one-on-one consultation to people so that they know what steps to take, so that they know what they don't know. We help guide them through each process, and we don't do the work. You're right. We don't do the work for our entrepreneurs, but we help guide them so that they can
What do you
make the
mean guide
words.
them? Guide them in what way?
Let's see. So if you have an idea, you're gonna come to us and say,
I have a
an
business idea.
You
I'm
have a
going to start
business
my own
idea.
business at home. You're going to go through steps A to Z.
We're going to help you identify first, is this business idea a good idea?
Oh, okay.
Is it going to help you? Because stopping somebody from breaking their bank and their heart on an idea that might not work is just as valuable as helping somebody take the next steps to succeed. Our goal is to help everyone with an idea do what they want to do and get that next step. Because like you said in your opening, sometimes the only opportunity to change your economic status is by opening your own business.
Okay, so how many people are trying to open their own business here in the Central Valley?
You know, it's changed a lot. I can tell you that just this year, so far alone, our counselors have done about 1,000 hours in consultation, one-on-one consultation with entrepreneurs that are coming in saying they want to start their own business. That's resulted in about
How many a month do you have coming in wanting to start their own business?
It varies. It varies with time. It varies with what people are doing. So our counselors stay fairly busy, although I don't actually have a number for you.
Right. So is it a large number, would you say, that come in?
Well, it's 1,000 hours worth of one-on-one consultation.
That sounds
so
like a
yeah,
lot of people coming in.
It's a lot of people.
Do many of those people who come in, are they in a situation where they've been laid off their jobs and they want to start their own business?
Sometimes, you know, to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have passion and tenacity and determination and the ability to follow a lead.
Okay. Sal, now you work for Triangle Associates, right?
That's right.
That's a company that represents a lot of businesses here along the Ventura corridor called the Ventura Merchants Association. How is your organization helping businesses along this Ventura corridor?
Sure. Thank you. And first of all, thank you for having us on the program today. And Ventura TV has been one of those wonderful businesses along the corridor that's been supportive. How do they help? One thing that we found is simply by organizing the existing businesses that are already on the corridor. The second thing is by going through an existing conditions study and business survey initially. The organization is about a year and a half old. It's a 501c6 business advocacy
As
group.
opposed to a 501c3,
That's
which
correct.
is quite different.
That's right. And so how does it help? By organizing the existing businesses, it takes time. There's 8 to 10 of the businesses that meet on a regular basis currently, and that's the first step.
Let's take a phone call real quick here and see. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me. What's your question?
What does it take to start a new business? What's the first thing that it takes to start?
Why don't you pick it up, Sal?
Sure, and this I think is a salient question. So I think the first thing is something that is critical is there a market for whatever the good or service that you're going to be providing? So if there are,
in other words, is there a market for it?
That's right. Is there are there, if you're looking to open a grocery store on a corner where there's 3 grocery stores existing, is that a good idea to start a new business and go into that market? So I think the first thing is having relevant empirical information by which says there is a need in that specific jurisdiction.
Okay, let's say I want to start a trucking business. Okay, what does it take? What are my first steps to be doing this?
Barb, do you want to handle this?
Well, I can't give you exact information about a trucking business, but what I can say is that the steps that you take at the very, very start of your journey are going to lay the foundation for when you go forward.
Let me chime in here just real briefly here. Is there any way that this gentleman could be helped by the incubator
Absolutely.
by putting a business plan together?
Absolutely. We have a couple of ways. And what I was saying is that the very, very start, the foundation is what you had said, is doing a market analysis, creating a business plan. But how do you get all that started? What have you done already? Those are the questions that you need to ask that counselors can help you with. And so, for instance, at our nonprofit, we have a startup course where you come in, it's an orientation, no pressure, sit down, hear a counselor, talk about the program, talk about the steps and the services, and what you would need to do next. Market analysis is good. Business feasibility is good. Is it really a match for you? I know somebody who wanted to start a coffee shop. She had the business plan. She had the business plan worked out. She had the place where she wanted to take it. Turns out that she really didn't like mornings.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work very well for her. So it's trying to get somebody to help you walk through all those questions.
Any other questions?
Well, see, that's what I'm 49 years old, and I've been trucking for dang near all my life. You know what I mean? And I'm tired of working for the other person. I'm not going anywhere.
There you go.
You know, and it's time for me to make that next step.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to leave something for my kids when I pass on. So, in order for me to do this, I need to, I guess, come down there and take this course.
It'd be a great start.
Yeah. What's your number, listen up. Barbara is going to give you a number where you can call and maybe you can get some help at the incubator. Go ahead.
Sure. The number is area code 559-292 292 90 33. And you'll call up and find out when our next SBDC orientation is. They're every other Friday.
Every other Friday.
And we'd love to have you and anybody come on down and listen in and see what's the next logical step for you. Entrepreneurship is very personal.
Yeah, see, you got to have your heart and mind into it, and then the finances, well, that's a different story. But I appreciate your calling, and 292-9033 is the number for the Central Valley Business Incubator. I hope you give them a call. Good luck to you, sir, in whatever your venture might be. We're going to continue our conversation here with Barbara Rodeik from the Central Valley Business Incubator and Sal Gonzales from Triangle Associates. That company represents the Ventura corridor here, the Ventura Merchants Association. Don't forget our number, 265-4331. Any business-related questions, they can answer them. Back in a moment.
From now on, when I sneeze, I'll try to sneeze more friendly.
Welcome back. We're talking business. Today is the focal point on business on this program, Connect With Me. And let me ask you, Sal, everybody has a dream. I don't care who it is. Young and old, middle-aged, we all have dreams. What if you have a dream, but you don't have the financial means to start your own business? What happens?
That's an excellent question, because I think that behooves many people who have the dream and just can't seem to act on it, John. There are a few different organizations, notwithstanding the wonderful incubator that we have. There's a group called the Valley Small Business Development Corporation, for example, that might loan to...
What's that called again?
Valley Small Business Development Corporation.
Okay. All right.
They are an organization that puts together non-traditional loans. So maybe although Wells Fargo, for example, is a wonderful lender in the community, they actually partner up with someone like Wells Fargo to help assist with some of the guarantees, so that somebody who maybe doesn't has less desirable credit worthiness, they put together a plan with them and work with a lending institution, although they have certain lending funds available, to help somebody like that who says, I don't have the credit worthiness, but I can put a package together. Valley Small Business Development Corporation.
So who takes the risk at that point? Would it be the bank?
In part, and this is one place where we do believe government actually works together well with the private sector. So the Valley Small Business Development Corporation helps bear some of that risk, and as opposed to only the traditional lending institution. The two together then spread the risk across themselves, notwithstanding, of course, the individual. So
they together, though, would have to believe in that product, whatever that business is going to be at that point. They have to have the same dream and belief that it's going to work as the person trying to start up. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct, but I also believe that sometimes a great idea, someone who has a great idea, is falsely held back by the idea that they need to have a lot of money invested in their company before they can start. It's amazing how much you may not need that additional funding, at least until you're established. So you don't need a lot of
money? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe not. You don't, maybe not. Not every startup needs to have a big angel investor. Not every startup needs to have a big loan. It's amazing. You can bootstrap yourself a lot, and that's part of it.
Everybody knows what's going on in the economy today. We don't need an education in that. If you have a dream and you're willing to work hard enough, night and day, to make it work, can you succeed in this business climate?
Absolutely. I think it's more difficult in the current economy than in other times. However, that said, if, for example, the gentleman who wants to start a trucking company go out on his own, he said something that was integral, and that was, I've been trucking all my life. There is something to be said to a potential lender.
He's got knowledge.
Absolutely. And if you don't have
power, right?
That's right. And you have experience level. In other words, he is an existing operator. And that is what they'll look at as much as your creditworthiness is. When this guy puts down in a pro forma that it takes X amount of dollars and X amount of expenses and X amount of revenues, is it believable? Because what knowledge base does he bring that in from? If
it's not as if I'm trying to start a trucking company.
Exactly.
I know nothing about it. I've never been in trucking. But he's been in it all of his life. So that knowledge, can it be carried over into the business aspect?
Absolutely.
That's the question.
And one thing I would add is what you had said. Right now in this economic climate, there are amazing numbers of resources, agencies that are pulling together and collaborating to ensure that small business owners and entrepreneurs and innovators have the resources that they need to take that next step and succeed. But you have to get out there and you have to make use of the resources that are available to you.
Banks, as you well know, from the residential side, they're not loaning as much as they were before, prior to the collapse in 2008, as you all know. What is it like in the business climate? Are they lending, or is it pretty much like housing? It's tight.
I think that they are certainly tighter. I think that the oversight has clamped down, and I think that they're in a point right now where there's a lot of money on the sidelines, and I think that the lending institutions, because of what they went through, they're a little bit gun-shy, a lot of gun-shy, yet we need to cross the line. And I think in order for the economy to be revived again, those funds are going to have to hit the street. That's not to say that we shouldn't have learned from this recession and that we put our pro formas together in a very conservative manner, as opposed to maybe 10 years ago when we might have been a little more casual about when we put a pro forma together. We have to learn from this great recession. They did in the Great Depression. The one thing I will say, John, is, as a friend of mine said recently, you know what, this economy, it's harder, but it's made us better.
In what way?
In terms of it's realistic that we have to have savings programs within, we have to keep a cash reserve, because that HVAC system that you put on your burger joint is not going to last forever. And when you have to change out a 5-ton HVAC system, it's significant. It's a cost prohibitor. So two things. I want to make sure that my HVAC system is maintained, and I'm going to make sure that I'm saving for the day of which I have to retrofit that HVAC.
You're agreeing. You're nodding your head.
I
see that.
I am. I want to point out by saying that for CVBI and SBDC, I am not their financial counselor, so I don't want to
don't come in and
ask for me. but I will say that I do understand that they are lending. But one of the things in this area is that there aren't a lot of angel investors. There aren't a lot of people that can help finance startup companies. And isn't it sad to think how many great innovations might be out there that have been let to lie fallow because there isn't investing? And so we really need more angel investors that level to be in here.
Angel investors meaning those loan investment companies that loan, the lending institutions that loan to people that have the dream. They're taking a chance. They're putting up the risk.
Yes.
That's an angel investor, right?
An angel is it's a larger investment, and it's usually done by a group of individuals or individuals who bond together.
Whatever lending institution is loaning that money, they're taking the risk, and they in turn have that
there's
label.
I believe there's different kinds of there's loans, there's investments, there's buying equity, working for equity. I mean, there's a lot of options, and that's one of the things that I think we were talking about earlier. Is
now
that
you
identifying.
can learn all that at Central Valley Business Incubator, right?
Certainly would learn to identify those different programs that are available and the different options and what makes the best point for you. It's not always going to a traditional bank and getting a traditional loan. It may be some other options, and they're out there. You just have to know about them.
Okay. It's a learning process. We're going to continue our conversation with Barbara Rodeik. She's from the Central Valley Business Incubator, and Sal Gonzales, who his company representing the Ventura Corridor, the Ventura Merchants Association, about 8 or 10 businesses, Ventura TV included in that. 265-4331. Phone line is open. Call in if you get a chance and ask the questions.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
As mentioned, the phone line is open, 265-4331. You know what? I misspoke. I spoke too soon, ladies and gentlemen, because the phone line is not open. We do actually have a phone call here on Connect With Me. We're with Barbara Rodeik from the Central Valley Business Incubator and Sal Gonzales representing Ventura Merchants Association. Good morning. You're on Connect With Me. What's your question?
Bud?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. You got a question for us?
Yes.
Go ahead. You're live on the air. Go ahead.
All right.
Quickly, what's your question?
My question is that the thing about the people you have there on TV right now is they need to put down, like American, the last 4 letters in American is I can. The last 4 letters in Mexican is I can. The last 4 letters in Republican is I can. And if you tell the business people that are going into business, if they stick with the I cans, they can get this economy turned around. That's all I've got to say.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. I guess his message is you have to have the right attitude. And the right attitude is I can, I can, I can.
That's right. I think that's I think that's a salient point. For example, there have been a significant amount of foreclosures, and there have been a significant amount of businesses to go out of business, correct? What I think he's representing is the fact that how many homes have not been foreclosed on? How many businesses are still in existence? Ventura TV is still here. They're fighting its way through. Renewal Body Works down the street is still moving forward. Classic Lady is still open after 30 years. The Kings Canyon Veterinary, about 40 years worth of business. They're absolutely making it through this time.
Somehow they're making it. But let me ask you, Sal, you know, tough question because, you know, Sal Quintero was in here. He was our guest not too long ago on this program where we talked a little bit about the business situation here along the Ventura corridor and even talked about many other things, politics and this and that. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that this section of town is depressed. How are these businesses surviving? Businesses like Ventura TV and the others that you mentioned. And who would open a business along this corridor knowing the depressed state that it's in?
Sure, and I think that goes back to your market analysis. For example, this corridor was initially laid down as a highway, and now we have the freeway. And so, with the onset of the freeway, the dynamic changed significantly.
In what way?
Because if you're headed eastbound and you want to get there faster, and you don't want to go through the traffic signals, you might just jump on the 180 and head east. Okay. That said, we have to be nimble and adjust with the times. And the other thing that we have to do is to learn the market dynamic and the analysis. So what business may want to dare open here? Well, if you look at the population, the census tracts for this area, the number of Latino constituents and Latino voters and those people of Latino heritage is significant. And so one might say that goods and services that are focused and marketed toward those, so you've seen companies come into the southeast area such as Vallarta, not necessarily a Save Mart, but a Vallarta, or others that have opened up that are specifically focused on that market segment.
But I'm talking about perception. This is a low-income neighborhood, and the perception might be there's high crime, there could be gang activity, there could be a lot of police calls at night, there could be a lot of break-ins. How do you get out of that perception? How do you snap that perception? Looks like you want to chime in here. Go ahead.
I do. I just want to, really quickly, I want to say the Ventura Merchants Association is an example of many things that are happening here, which is all about collaboration. And so one of the things I imagine is the idea that you promote the resources that you have, the unique resources that you have, and the unique market that you have. The rising tide floats all boats. And so I imagine that by bonding together, by identifying the things that are going to draw the people in, that's one of the things that supports business. And that's part of the small business development as well. Did I overspeak?
No, absolutely. I think what you're also saying is, for example, we did an existing conditions study, and we looked at the crime statistics, and we looked at...
and what are the crime stats?
And we looked at, one more thing, we did a business survey of the businesses, of about 210 businesses. About 70% of them responded. We knocked on their doors, we talked to them, asked them a series of questions, probably an analysis you may want to take a look at in due time, John. But
what are the crime stats?
I couldn't tell you right offhand. Is there crime? Yes.
Crime.
I get higher crime depending on how relative to what areas of the city.
More so than other parts of
more
the city.
so than other parts of the city, but there are other parts of the city that compete in terms of the crime statistics. Now that said, if I recall correctly, I think what they're saying is generally we're talking about things that are focused on the merchants. Graffiti, the lights are out. The how is the code enforcement issues along the alleys, for example? And that's one of the reasons the Ventura Kings Canyon Merchants Association was started, was to help be an advocate.
All right, quickly, running out of time. Give me 2 good reasons why a person should start a business along Ventura TV in 10 seconds.
10
2
seconds.
reasons. 2 reasons.
Wonderful. The market segment is here, and the businesses along the Ventura Kings Canyon corridor have been here for years. They've been here for 30 and 40 years, and they can make it too if they work just as hard.
Okay. I think we're out of time. We got about 30 seconds left. Barbara Rodeik, I want you to come back, though.
I would
Lively
love
discussion.
to.
This was too short, right?
Yes, yes. You didn't even get to ask me about my event.
I know. Your event is taking place October the 10th. It's a small business university. It's a 1-hour workshop. Takes place in Clovis, right?
It's a series of 1-hour workshops, and go to CVBI online, and we'll tell you all about it, or give us a call.
Okay, Barbara,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Sal,
Thanks,
good to
John.
see you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you for being with us. We're back tomorrow. We're going to talk to the head of the Islamic Cultural Center here in Fresno tomorrow. We want your views and comments, and you're welcome here anytime. Call at 265-4331 daily. We'll see you back here tomorrow.